Let's learn how to play Mega Absol Ex, also known as Toy Box. In this video, we're going to go over the deck list, explanation of the cards, some test hand, and a gameplay on Pokemon TCG Live. By the way, you guys are new here, hi, my name is Win, also known as Royal Illis. We do a lot of Pokemon TCG content here on this channel, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Anyways, let's start off with the deck list. And of course, I have all the timestamp right down below if you want to skip around the video. For the Pokemon, we have 2 Mega Absol EX, 2 Mega Kangaskhan EX, 3 Munkidori, 2 Yveltal, 2 Cornerstone Ogerpon EX, 1 Pecharunt EX, 1 Latias EX, 1 Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX, 1 Fezandipiti EX, and 1 Psyduck. For the supporter, we have 4 Arvin, 3 Lily's Determination, 2 Iono, 3 Boss's Order, 2 Penny, and 1 Eerie. For the items, we have 1 Precious Trolley, 2 Nest Ball, 3 Pokégear, 2 Earthen Vessel, 2 Energy Switch, 2 Night Stretcher, 2 Counter Catcher, 2 TM Turbo Energize, and 2 Bravery Charm. For the stadium, we have 2 Lively Stadium. For the energies, we have 2 Miss, 1 Fighting, and 6 Dark Energies. And here's a quick overview of this deck. Now let's talk about every single card and why it's in here. First off, we have Mega Absol EX. This will be one of your main attacker, and we're going to be using both of the attacks. Let's start off with the second attack, so we're probably going to be using this a lot more. Call of Darkness costs 2 Darker Energy and 1 colorless. It does 200 damage, and you get to look at your opponent's hand and discard 1 card. The attack of this effect is what makes this deck really good, because you can get rid of an important card in your opponent's hand. For the first attack, Terminal Period, it costs 1 Dark Energy and 1 colorless. If your opponent's active Pokemon has exactly 6 damage counters on it, that Pokemon is knocked out. We can achieve this pretty easily because we're running Munkidori, because Munkidori has the ability that states, once during your turn, if this Pokemon has any Dark Energy attached, you may move up to 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to your opponent's Pokemon. So as long as you have 2 Munkidoris with a Dark Energy, the first attack of Mega Absol is pretty easily obtained. Next we have Mega Kangaskhan EX. This is more of a draw engine, but you can also attack with it. It's a good draw engine because of its ability, which states, once during your turn, if this Pokemon's in the active spot, you get to draw 2 cards. And the attack costs 3 colorless energy, and does 200 damage. But you flip a coin until you get its tail. And for each hex that you land, the attack does 50 more damage. Since Mega Absol is weak to grass, whenever I face a grass type deck, I always use Mega Kangaskhan as an attacker. Next we have Yveltal. We're mainly going to be using the first attack. For 1 Dark Energy, it does 20 damage. And during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. So it's basically a stall attacker. Usually when I'm behind, my game plan is to go to Yveltal and start stalling. Next we have Cornerstone Ogerpon EX. We want to use this Pokemon as an attacker whenever our opponent's deck has a lot of Pokemon that has ability. Because Cornerstone Ogerpon's ability states, prevent all damage from attack done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon that has an ability. And the attack costs 1 Fighting Energy and 2 colorless. It does 140 damage, and the attack isn't affected by weakness or resistant or any effect of your opponent's active Pokemon. So Cornerstone Ogerpon's attack goes through everything. And it's a good attacker against decks like Charizard EX, Gholdengo EX, and Zoroark EX, and many more in the meta. Next we have Pecharunt EX and Latias EX. These 2 Pokemon are here so that we can retreat freely. Pecharunt has an ability that states, once during your turn, you may switch one of your bench dark Pokemon, except itself, with your active Pokemon. But the new active Pokemon is Poison, and the Poison actually comes in handy because you can move the damage back with Munkidori. Not to mention Pecharunt EX is also a good late game attacker. The attack costs 2 Dark Energy, and it does 60 damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. It's a very strong attacker, your opponent won't be expecting it. And Latias is only there for the ability, which states your basic Pokemon in play have no retreat costs, and our deck only has basic Pokemon. Next we have Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX. This is also a late game attacker. For 5 colorless energy, it does 240 damage. But during your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. You might be thinking 5 energy is a lot, but if you take a look at the ability, it says the attack used by this Pokemon costs 1 less for each prize card your opponent has taken. So if your opponent takes 5 prizes, it can literally attack for free. Next we have Fezandipiti EX, another supporting Pokemon thanks to the ability. Once during your turn, if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you may draw 3 cards. Fez is broken, it's in every single deck. And last but not least for the Pokemon, we have Psyduck, which is also only here for the ability, which states, Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent, lose any ability that requires the Pokemon using it to knock out itself. Basically, this card stops the entire Dusknoir line. On to the supporters now. Arvin lets you search your deck for an item card and a tool card and add it to your hand. This card is super important because we want to find our Precious Trolley and our TM Turbo Energize, but we'll talk more about these later. Next we have Lily's Determination, another extremely powerful card. You get to shuffle your hand into the deck, then draw 6 cards. But if you have exactly 6 prize cards remaining, draw 8 instead. Super powerful early game to see 8 cards, or late game when you get Iono, you can still see 6 cards. Iono lets you draw and disrupt your opponent's hand. Boss's Order lets you switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active. Penny lets you put one of your basic Pokemon and all attached cards into your hand. And once again, we're running all basic Pokemon. Majority of the time, our opponent can't one-shot our Pokemon because it's pretty tanky. So you can always bring it back to your hand like they never attack. And last but not least, we have Eerie. You get to look at your opponent's hand and discard up to 2 item cards you find there. It's always good to get rid of your opponent's resources. And if you combine it with Mega Absol, you can literally take 3 cards out of their hand. Moving on to the items. First, we have Precious Trolley. This card is extremely important in this deck. You can just search your deck for any number of basic Pokemon and put them onto the bench. And once again, all our Pokemon are basic, so this is a really good card to set up. And like I said earlier, you can search this with Arvin. But in case Precious Trolley is prized, we have Nest Ball, which lets you set your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto your bench. Pokégear lets you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and if you find any supporters there, you can add 1 to your hand. Once again, it's really important to find Precious Trolley, so this can find you Arvin, which finds you Precious Trolley, if that makes sense. Earth Investor lets you search your deck for 2 basic energy and add it to your hand, but you have to discard 1 card. Energy Switch lets you move a basic energy from one of your Pokemon to another Pokemon. There are so many things you can do with Energy Switch in this deck. For example, since we can only attach once per turn, we attached 1 to the Munkidori, use the ability, then use Energy Switch to use the second Munkidori's ability. Or we can attach the energy to Munkidori, use the ability, then use Energy Switch to move it to Mega Absol, and then we can start attacking. Night Stretcher lets you put a Pokemon or a basic energy from the discard pile back into your hand. Just some recycling cards. Counter Catcher lets you switch from your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active, but you have to have more prizes than your opponent. TM Turbo Energize is the tool card that you can attach to your Pokemon, and you can use whatever attack is on the card, but you have to discard at the end of the turn. For this one, the attack costs 1 colorless energy. You get to search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. And this is your only way to accelerate energy, which is why I mentioned earlier, these 2 cards are very important in this deck to set up your board. And once again, all you need is the Arven. You can get both of them. Next we have Bravery Charm, another tool card. The basic Pokemon this card is attached to gets 50 HP. Once again, all our Pokemon are basic, so it gets more HP, making it harder for your opponent to knock it out. Moving on to the stadium, which we're only running Lively Stadium. Each basic Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent, gets 30 more HP. We want our Pokemon just to be super tanky at this point. Let's quickly talk about the energies. Miss Energy prevents all effective attack used by your opponent's Pokemon done to the Pokemon that this card is attached to. And just a reminder, damage is not an effect. This is good in the mirror because it stops Mega Absol's first attack, or even decks like Roaring Moon EX and Alakazam. And last but not least, we have the 1 fighting energy, so that way we can attack with Cornerstone Ogerpon EX. And that is all the cards in this deck. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments. Before we move on to the next section, I just want to give a big thank you to my channel members. You guys are so awesome. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. If you want to become a channel member and get some extra perks, make sure you click on this join button right down here below. Moving on to test hand, we're going to have one for going first and one for going second. But for this deck, we really want to go second. Jumping into our first test hand here, this will be for going first. We do want to go second with this deck because we want to hit the Arven to get the Trolley, get the Turbo Energize to start accelerating our energies. But going first is not too bad. We can still kind of set up, maybe attach the energy for a turn, and then we can go from there. But since we are going first, there's not much we can do in our first turn. So for this test hand, we're going to do turn 1 and turn 2. So now that I finished shuffling, as our opponent, they want to cut or tap. We're going to pretend to be our opponent to cut. Then let's draw our 7. Hopefully we have a basic energy right here, so we don't mulligan. We have 2 basic. I'm going to put down the Munkidori for sure. Depending on the matchup, if it's against Dragapult, of course, we're going to put the Psyduck down right away. But if not, it's a waste of bench space. And for the sake of the video, we're going to do the prize card face up. So that way I know we can save time. And it also helps you guys kind of see what is in the deck and what I can maneuver through my prizes. And it's like I said, it saves time. We don't have to price check. Regardless, let's draw for a turn. So, like I said, if we're up against Dragapult Dusknoir, we're gonna put this down for sure. If not, it's okay. So right now, I'm actually just gonna nest ball here. I'm probably gonna get out a Mega Kangaskhan. Is there another way to get out a Pokemon? We do not. So we have a lot of energy in our hand, in our hand. So we can just retreat, so that we can draw some more cards, because we do have a Lilies, but I kind of want to have just like the Arven right away next turn if we can get that. So we're gonna shuffle a little bit. In a perfect world, we can, have a Latias or some way to retreat, but nobody's perfect, so we're gonna have to do it this way. Let me get my cards. We are gonna attach the Dark, retreat, and then let's draw 2 with our Mega Kangaskhan here. Got another Monkey and an Energy Switch. Not too bad. So depending on the matchup, again, double Monkey is pretty necessary. Majority of the time, you're gonna have 2 monkeys, but sometimes you might just have 1 depending on the matchup. So that is it for our turn 1. So for turn 2, let's draw for our card another energy. We have so much energy. So honestly here, we really want that Arven. Excuse me. So I'm actually gonna draw 2 here first before we Lilies. Because hopefully we can hit a TM Evo or something, or even just some way to get it. And there it is. We got the Turbo Energize. And then we're gonna attach the Miss Energy here onto the Mega Kangaskhan. And then now we do have to Lily's Determination. So we haven't taken a prize card. We get to draw 8. So hopefully we see a Mega Absol, or a Nest Ball, or a Precious Trolley. Or maybe a Cornerstone, even if we have to accelerate some energy. Maybe we'll go up against a Charizard EX, or Goldangle, or Enzoric, or any of those decks that have Pokemon with a lot of abilities. So here we finish shuffling. Let's draw 8 cards here. We have 4, then another 4. And we are never punished. We hit the Precious Trolley, which we're gonna use right away. For sure, we need a retreating option, so Latias is in consideration here. And then the Mega Absol, and that's kind of it. I like to save 1 bench space for something, but I kind of also want to get this Pecharunt too. It all depends on what matchup we're up against. But usually, majority of the time, you just want 1 of each, or 1 or the other. But if you have both of them, you can, let's say you attack with Mega Absol, you can retreat for free thanks to Latias, draw 2 with Mega Kangaskhan, and then use Pecharunt to bring back the Mega Absol to start attacking again. So it's all situational, but I'm gonna get the Latias and the Mega Absol here just to be easy, just to be simple, I would say. And then I'm gonna actually attach this Bravery Charm to Mega Absol, and that's all we can do. So we're gonna attack with Turbo Energize, which lets you search your deck for 2 basic energy, and put it onto our Pokemon in any way we would like on the bench, which I'm gonna do it to the Mega Absol. And then we're gonna shuffle real quick here. And then that's it for our second turn. And the next turn we have the energy in hand to attack. We also have a boss in case we need to bring something up. And then we also have a +2 draw from the Mega Kangaskhan. So pretty good, I would say, for our first and second turn. Jumping into our second test hand, this will be for going second. This will be the most optimal way to play this deck. You want to go second, like I said earlier. So let's give it 1 quick riffle shuffle, and then 1 more. And then once again, ask our opponent if they want to cut or tap. Let's cut, and then let's draw our 7 here. Let's see what we get. Hopefully okay, so we do have Yveltal. We don't want to put the Cornerstone down because most of the time, like I said, it's mainly for Charizard, Gholdengo EX, and Zoroark, Miraidon maybe. They have a lot of abilities as well. So we don't want to waste the bench space, but we're going to put the Yveltal there. Let's do our prizes. Let's face it upwards so that way we can see. It seems like I always prize 1 Mega Absol and 1 Mega Kangaskhan every time. All right, either way, this is our first turn going second. So let's draw. We already have our Turbo Energizer, which is pretty good. So I think I'm actually going to Earthen Vessel here to kind of thin out a little bit. So that way we can hopefully hit this Arven. Because if not, we have to use that Lily's Determination. But having that Turbo Energize in hand is pretty good. I'm actually going to get the Fighting here. Because we're not going to need the Fighting and pretend like we're not facing a Zard or a Gholdengo here. We're not going to be using Cornerstone. I'm just going to try to be like most basic with this deck. Mainly attacking with Mega Absol. But this deck is very situational. There's a lot of ways you can get through different decks. Many lines. So now, since we thin out, let's Pokégear here for the top 7. So 4, 3. Hopefully we hit an Arven here. And we don't hit the Arven, but we did hit the Precious Trolley. We're going to take, might as well just take the boss. Doesn't matter. So we're going to shuffle again anyways. So instead of shuffling, I'm actually going to do this, attach here. And then we're going to use Lily's Determination. So we have 8 fresh new cards, or fresh 8 cards, I would say. And hopefully we hit a Precious Trolley, a Nest Ball, a Mega Absol, some sort of attacking option here. All right, so let's draw our 8 and hope for the best here. Can we get that Precious Trolley like we did in turn 1? We did not get the Precious Trolley, but we got the Mega Absol, which is good. Put that down. We're gonna get the Munkidori down. Unfortunately, no Mega Kangaskhan. But this is actually kind of what we want to do. Just get the Turbo Energize and then accelerate into Mega Absol. Next turn, we still have Iono. We still have a Pokégear. So we can still set up our Mega Kangaskhan and our other Pokemon if we need to. But yeah, that's all we can do. We're going to Turbo Energize onto our Mega Absol here. So put 2 energies here onto the Mega Absol. Majority of the time, your opponent won't be doing 280 on their second turn. So you should be fine unless you're facing like a Gholdengo. Maybe they can hit 280. But for next turn, we have Iono or we have the Pokégear. And that is it for our turn 2 going first. Now let's check out gameplay on Pokemon TCG Live. As we jump into our gameplay here, if you guys are still around and you guys find my content helpful, make sure you hit that like button. It really does help the YouTube algorithm. And we did lose a coin flip, so let's see if our opponent let us go second, which I doubt it. Yeah, so we have to go first. That's okay. We get to kind of showcase the deck going both. And we did start with a Precious Trolley, which is good. I just wish we have an energy in hand, though. So definitely going to use this Precious Trolley here. Let's see what we're up against. Okay, it's Miraidon. So it could be Miraidon straight up, or... Oh, we start with energy. There it is. All right. So I'm going to get Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan. If it's a Miraidon, I don't think... We could attack with Cornerstone Ogerpon EX, but I don't think they can knock out anything, to be honest, if it's Miraidon. But it could be Joltik Box, so I'm actually going to retreat here into Mega Kangaskhan so that we can draw a little more. Hopefully get some more cards we can work with. Pecharunt's not bad here. I would probably attach... Yeah, I'll probably attach the Mega Kangaskhan. We have Pokégear next turn. We have another +2 draw to get our Arvin. Not too scared. But let's see if it's straight Miraidon or Joltik Box. Okay, here's the Nest Ball. Okay, it's getting a Latias. So we still don't know if it's Joltik Box or Miraidon. But the tandem unit here, getting 2 lightning Pokemon, should kind of indicate what deck we're up against. Okay, so it is Joltik Box. So they're getting Pikachu, which does one-shot our Mega Kangaskhan. But we do have the Lively Stadium. We have our Charm. We need to make sure we get those, or else that Pikachu is going to one-shot our 3 prize here. We have the energy in hand. They're just going to power up 1 Pikachu, probably. Okay, so you have 3 energy into Pikachu and then 1 on the Miraidon. Okay, we have another Cornerstone. I'm going to use Run Errand, so that way we get more cards, and then we use Pokégear. Oh, we're going to Earthen Vessel, so we have the Earthen Vessel here. Then on our deck, I'm going to get the Fighting Energy because we don't need it in this matchup. We need to have some Dark Energy for the Turbo Energizer. And now we Pokégear since we thin out. And we did not hit our Arvin. So we might have to just Iono here. I'm going to attach the Monkey, put the Lively Stadium down. Because last resort, we're going to bring up a Munkidori, so they have to waste attack with Pikachu. They want to just knock out 1 prizer. So we Iono here. And we hit into a Turbo Energizer and a Bravery Charm. So pretty good. So I'm going to charm up my Mega Absol because that's pretty important. And then we're going to Turbo Energize onto our Mega Absol here. So now that forces them to either find a boss. But even if they boss, they can't really knock anything out unless they get rid of my Stadium. Or they just have to maybe like charge again with the Joltik. But let's see what let's see what they do here. Okay, the Tandem unit. Alright, they're getting out Iron Hands, so they might just power up the Iron Hands here. Okay, attachment for turn. There's Psychic Energy. Yeah, so they're gonna power up their Iron Hands, but then we can just start attacking next turn and hopefully get rid of some of their important resources in their hand. And their Miraidon's also powered up, but we're not too afraid of the Miraidon EX. All right, we have a Nest Ball, so I'm actually gonna Nest Ball here for my Pecharunt. So that way we can retreat and then use Pecharunt to bring up the Mega Absol, and then we poison ourselves too, so that we can move that damage onto that Pikachu, because that's going to be something we need to do later on. And then here we are drawing 2 more. Not getting what we want. I really wanted a boss order, to be honest. But we're going to use the Arvin here to probably just get a Pokégear for next turn, and then get rid of this Turbo Energizer in our deck. We don't need it anymore. We're going to thin it out. Attach the Mist Energy into Mega Absol. Use Pecharunt's ability here to move a Dark Pokemon to the active, but it has to become poison in the active. I'm going to attach this to anywhere, it doesn't matter. And then we're going to use Claw of Darkness, knocking out the Joltik and getting rid of 1 card in their hand. Let's see what they have. Ooh, they have Arvin. Wait, we need to get rid of this Iron Leaves because we are weak to grass. But I guess Arvin can still get them like Counter Catcher or Prime Catcher if that's their A spec, or even like a Night Stretcher. I totally forgot that this deck runs Iron Leaves. It might have been better just to attack with Mega Kangaskhan in this matchup. I'm not sure. I haven't faced a Johto box with this deck specifically in person, but here we are. We're learning as we go. But you guys can, whatever I do that is a misplay, just don't do that. All right, they're 10 unit. Maybe they're searching their deck if they have a Night Stretcher or Counter Catcher and Prime Catcher is what I'm thinking, since they have the Arvin in hand. Okay, nothing. I'm really scared they're going to bring back that Iron Leaves here, though. Okay, there's the Arvin. Please don't be a Night Stretcher. Okay, it's a Prime Catcher and an Energy Booster Capsule. So they might be targeting one of my Munkidoris here. Yeah, with the Energy Booster Capsule, Iron Hand should be doing enough. Yeah, so they're doing 120 plus, I believe, 40 from the Energy Booster Capsule. And they got the Fez too, so they can draw some more cards here as well. And their Pikachu is pretty set up. But we do have that poison damage from our Mega Absol. So next turn, we're going to move that damage onto that Pikachu so we can deal with that later. But that's going down, unfortunately, here. And we'll bring up the Mega Kangaskhan. We always bring up the Mega Kangaskhan because we can use it to draw. I kind of want to dig for Iono. So probably just Pokégear first. We want to hit the Iono, so I'm going to draw first to thin out. And we hit the Iono, so we don't need the Pokégear. So I think definitely going to attach here. Yeah, attach to the Munkidori. Maybe it was Pokégear first to get the Iono, but that's just hindsight bias. Or hindsight that we know that there was an Iono. If we whiff the Iono, we would have to draw with the Mega Kangaskhan. But let's Iono here. Putting them to 4. And then we can attack with Mega Absol to get rid of 1 card. So they'll only be at 3. Or I guess technically 4 once they draw a card for turn. We hit the Counter Catcher and the Lilies for next turn, so pretty good. We're definitely gonna just bring up the Mega Absol here with the poison once again. And I think I might just Counter Catcher here. I'm just gonna Counter Catch up this Latias because we know we can knock this out, take 2 prizes. And then we also get rid of 1 card. I know it kind of opened up Fez, but I'm kind of playing the more ooh, yeah, we get rid of the boss here. But yeah, I'm playing just a little more aggressive. So that way, yeah, they can take out my monkey next, but we should be still okay, I think. But we got rid of their boss though. Because right now they can't really knock out anything unless they use Pikachu to knock out like a Latias or a Pecharunt or the Munkidori. We got the Ultra Ball here. Got rid of Switch and an Arvin. We got a Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Okay, we should be kind of afraid of that. It's doing 240, so we can knock out a Pecharunt or a Latias here. Okay, they got the Miraidon powered up. I wonder, are they using that to attack, I'm guessing? Okay, they are using that to attack. Okay, which is fine. Kind of in a pickle here. Okay, I'm going to put down a monkey. Hopefully we hit another energy and then put a charm on this Pecharunt so they can't get knocked out by Bloodmoon. That's Lily's determination here. We still got some draw for Mega Kangaskhan as well afterwards. We got the Dark Energy, which is what we're looking for. Attach the Dark Energy. And then let's move the damages off of our Mega Absol here. I know we can use the first attack to knock out the Miraidon, but since our opponent only has 3 cards in hand, I might actually just use Claw of Darkness to get rid of another card here. Because why not, right? We want to reduce our opponent from getting the resources they need. So now, yeah, we can Claw of Darkness, knock this out, get rid of 1 card. Let's see what they have in their hand. Not really any cards they need, I guess. I'll just do the Crispin here. Because they can attack with Bloodmoon. Yeah, there's nothing in their hand can really do much, so I might be down for the Crispin. So
So let's take out the Crispin here. We knock it out. And I think... Wait, I just realized... I think Iron Hands can just amp me. Wait, no. We're doing 180. Iron Hands doing 160. We're still safe, right? Yes. We should still be safe. Are we? No. Actually, no. Yeah, I mean, we'll still get knocked out. But we won't get amped because it was to be the poison tick. Okay, yeah, we're safe. I was about to surrender there. But regardless, they're taking out this Mega Absol for sure here. Yeah, so they're taking out this Mega Absol. They get 3 prizes, so they'll put them down to 1. And honestly, it's pretty simple. There's 2 ways we can go about this. We can either get the energy switch and the Earthen Vessel. I don't know how many dark energies left in the deck, but we can power up Pecharunt, or we can just get our Bloodmoon, which is probably the easiest way. I'm gonna Earthen Vessel here to see what we have in our deck. If we have the Bloodmoon, if we have the energy. So we don't have the dark energy. So Pecharunt is in there. Let's draw 2. I completely forgot to check if we had Bloodmoon, or even a Nest Ball here. But we do have the Nest Ball. Let's check for the Bloodmoon. We have the Bloodmoon. And we don't need any energies because they're at 1 prize, which means they took 5 prizes. So Bloodmoon can attack for 1 less energy per prizes your opponent taken. So pretty simple now. We just retreat since we still have Latias, free retreat, and then we do 240. And since we poisoned ourselves early in the game, we were able to put damage on this Pikachu. Therefore, they don't have the Resolute Heart ability. And that is kind of it for this game. I hope you guys understand this deck a little better, and GG to our opponent.
And that is it for this deck, guy. But if you want to see more gameplay for this deck, make sure you guys check out this video right here. If not, check out my other videos right over here. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Whoosh.